Have you ever felt a sudden chill run down your spine, or the hairs on your neck stand up, as if someone were watching you? Almost everyone has experienced this strange sensation at some point. You might be sitting in a cafe, walking down the street, or even just working quietly at your desk, when suddenly you feel it, the undeniable sense that eyes are on you. And when you turn to look, more often than not, you discover that someone really is watching. But why does this happen? Why can our minds and bodies sometimes detect an unseen observer before our conscious awareness even catches up? The human brain is an incredible survival machine, shaped over thousands of years to detect subtle changes in the environment. Long before modern civilization, our ancestors lived in the wild, where predators could be hiding anywhere. Being able to sense when someone, or something, was staring at them could mean the difference between life and death. This instinct has stayed with us, and it still influences the way we respond to the world today. When you feel like someone is watching you, it is often because your subconscious mind has already picked up tiny cues, like a slight movement in your peripheral vision, or the way someone's body is oriented toward you. Even if you didn't notice it consciously, your body reacts instantly, creating that uneasy or heightened sensation. Psychologists call this phenomenon gaze detection. The human brain has specialized neural networks that are highly sensitive to the direction of another person's eyes. Studies show that we can detect when someone is looking at us from over 30 feet away. Even if we are not directly looking at their face, our brain processes subtle details in our surroundings and alerts us when attention is directed our way. This is why you sometimes just know that a stranger on the bus is staring, even before you meet their eyes. But it's not always just about survival or biology. There's also a deep psychological and emotional component. Being watched makes us feel vulnerable, sometimes even exposed. It activates our self-awareness, making us think about how we appear to others. That's why you suddenly adjust your posture, fix your hair, or become more conscious of your actions the moment you realize someone is observing you. This response isn't only about physical safety. It's also about social survival because humans are wired to care about reputation, acceptance, and how others perceive them. Interestingly, not every sensation of being watched turns out to be true. Sometimes it's our mind playing tricks on us, especially when we're anxious or in an unfamiliar environment. When you're walking alone at night, for example, your brain is already on high alert, scanning for possible threats. A sound, a shadow, or even just your imagination can trigger the eerie feeling that you're not alone. This is your brain's way of preparing you for possible danger. It would rather give you a false alarm than miss a real one. In other words, it's better to feel watched when no one is there, than to ignore the sensation and risk harm. There's also a fascinating emotional side to this. Sometimes, the feeling of being watched doesn't come from strangers, but from people we already know. You might be sitting in a room and suddenly feel drawn to turn around, only to find a friend, partner, or family member gazing at you. In these moments, the sensation can feel less like fear, and more like a quiet connection, as if your subconscious recognized the energy of someone familiar. Some psychologists suggest this has to do with how deeply attuned we become to the people we care about. Their presence, attention, and even subtle cues become part of our internal radar. On a deeper level, this strange experience reflects how interconnected human beings truly are. We don't live in isolation. We constantly influence and affect one another, even without words. When someone looks at you, they are directing their focus and energy toward you, and your body somehow registers it. This is why many spiritual traditions also describe the power of the gaze, believing that eyes carry intention, emotion, and even energy that others can sense. Whether you view it spiritually or scientifically, the effect remains the same. Attention is powerful, and being on the receiving end of it changes the way you feel. So the next time you sense someone's eyes on you, don't ignore it. Pause for a moment and recognize what's happening. Your subconscious mind is alerting you to something your conscious mind hasn't yet noticed. It could be a stranger trying to read your expression, a friend admiring you from afar, or simply your brain's natural protective system kicking into gear. Each time it happens, it's a reminder of how remarkable human perception really is. We are more sensitive, more aware, and more connected to the world around us than we often realize. In the end, The feeling of being watched is not just about fear or survival, it's also about connection. It shows how deeply tuned our minds are to the presence of others, and how much attention matters in shaping our experiences. Because whether it's a predator in the wild, a stranger in the room, or someone who cares about you silently watching, your mind and body are always listening, always sensing, and always protecting you.